A great evening, everyone. Welcome to Prime Business. I am Pius Kojubaka. And looking at our stories, economist Daniel Amatenim says the verdict of the Monetary Policy Committee on the economy will call for a reduction in the policy rate at the next MPC meeting. According to him, the macroeconomic indicators have set the right tone for a reduction in the lending rate. Mr. Amatenim has been speaking to Joy Business.
Listen to the tone and the analysis so far by the committee. It appears that there's that likelihood that they may further reduce the policy rate from 28%, and if that is done, to me, it's a signal to the commercial banks and then making the cost of capital quite competitive, and that will be a very positive news. So, but answer you in a very basic manner, I'm of the view, considering the tone of the analysis, that appears that they may reduce the policy rate.
The Bank of Ghana has extended the forex repatriation period for exporters from 60 to 120 days. This was revealed by the Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ufusue-Jare, at the Trade Forum, which gathered exporters and manufacturers. Here's more.
The forum gathered trade associations, exporters, as well as players in the manufacturing sector. At the forum, the Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ufusue-Jare, announced that the Bank of Ghana has extended the foreign exchange repatriation period for exporters from 60 to 120 days. This is to enable exporters ample time to sell their goods and repatriate and foreign exchange as mandated by law.
The repatriation of export proceeds says 60 days.
I was petitioned that the 60-day repatriation period was too short. I engaged Bank of Ghana and they have agreed to their request.
It's a Bank of Ghana, so export. I'll commend the Bank of Ghana.
We are all committed to boosting exports. This action taken by the Bank of Ghana will make our exporters competitive.
Within 120 days. Competitive.
In response, Eric Defoe, chair of the Economic Committee at AGI, commended the move.
You had situations where people took goods out and they couldn't repatriate the proceeds. And now it's been extended, so instead of a short term for you to repatriate, the period has been extended, so you can continue exporting until the 120 days catches up with you for you to repatriate your first export.
Nora Bannerman, a government exporter, expressed worry about Ghana losing business to other African countries due to its slow pace of policy implementation.
The slow pace, and assuming that the whole world is waiting, has been to the disadvantage of Ghana. Because we come up with great ideas and we're very slow at implementing. So neighboring countries, even other countries, they take advantage of what we have. I gave the example of Ethiopia. I gave an example of what is happening next door to us, and so on and so forth. And once these are well established, they draw the business to their countries. It's so close, it's Africa as far as they're concerned. So if you're talking about taking advantage of AFCFTA, we need to be looking at our infrastructure. We need to be looking at patenting. We need to be looking at grant and debt to support industry.
The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry says it will continue to hold periodic meetings with industry aimed at making Ghana an industrial hub.
CATS International is advocating a competition law to guide consumers' interest in the implementation of the 24-hour economy initiative. According to CATS International, such a law will prevent cartels already operating in Ghana to shortchange consumers, thereby increasing the plight of ordinary Ghanaians. Apia Kusi Adumako is the West Africa Regional Director of CATS International and has been speaking to Joy Business.
Currently, Ghana does not have a competition law, so some businesses may decide to agree and fix prices. When prices are fixed, it means that people will have to pay more for a product that could have been sold at a lower rate. And so now that we talk about 24-hour economy and accelerated government policy program, government is looking at this is an industrial policy. And if you do not have a competition law, there could be some few companies that can form cartels and restrict the supply of, let's say, essential commodities that others will need. And in the long run, consumers will have to pay more for those things. And I want to say that under the AFCFTA, every member country in Africa is required to have a competition law.
Away from that, despite being sidelined in key petroleum product allocations, GOIL PLC has posted a remarkable 50% surge in first quarter profit, a feat its CEO Edward Bauer attributes to strategic resilience and one that renews calls for fair treatment in Ghana's competitive downstream sector. More in this report.
GOIL dealers from across the Western region gathered to assess performance and forge ahead under turbulent conditions with rising costs and logistical bottlenecks. Dealers continue to keep the brand visible even in Ghana's most undeserved areas.
As a country, we have a challenge with infrastructure. Because, we have what we call the jetty, where the CBM that we bring the products from. When the ship comes, Takrady here, you have one, that you discharge. So usually we have what we call laycans that are given to us by NPA, the National Petroleum Authority. Ordinarily, because GOIL is a state, a majority, the shareholding structure, the state has a higher majority shares. GOIL goes to places where other OMCs won't go. GOIL goes to certain places where economically it doesn't make sense. But we go there because there's a district assembly there. We go there because there's a hospital there. We go there because there's a school there. And because these institutions are there, and we even go there because there are ordinary Ghanaians who are there, that yes, they will also need petrol. They will need diesel to put in their tractors and farm. If you look at the overheads against the margins that you make, it doesn't make economic sense to put a fuel station there. But GOIL will go and put a fuel station there. So it is not for economic reasons, but it is because of the fact that we think that as a nation, there must be a social intervention in something. It is because of some of these issues that government then decided that, look, we will ensure that every month you at least have 1 laycan or 2 laycans to bring in products so that you can take them around all the other places. Unfortunately, GOIL has not been getting laycan. For this year alone, yes, they will tell us that we are supposed to have 2 laycans in a quarter. So for every 3 months, we may have the opportunity of having just 2 vessels coming to give us products. Even these 2, they reschedule it for us. If you take the second quarter alone, we've just had only 1 laycan.
Despite these setbacks, GOIL is showing financial resilience.
If you compare the first quarter of 2024, in terms of our profit before tax, was about 5.6 billion in terms of revenue. If you look at the tax alone, the profit that we made alone, we increased our profit by about 12%. If you compare last year first quarter to this year first quarter, we did that. If you sit down today and look at our assets, we have appreciated. Whilst our asset for last year, 2024 first quarter, was about 4.9 billion. This year is about 5 billion. If you take the company alone, GOIL, while we 2 of us are working on, if you look at our profit before tax, it's about 33 million Ghana cedis, as compared to last year, which was about 16 million, about 50% increment.
GOIL's leadership is hopeful that with just a little more support and fairness in product allocation, the company can continue delivering value both commercially and socially across Ghana.
So because of these 2 things, we had a situation where, 1, we didn't have the product, and if we even had a product, because we're buying from our competitors, it was expensive. These 2 things conspired to ensure that we were no longer attractive. So when you see people say that GOIL is not performing, how do you expect me to perform when you have tied my hands at the back? And you expect me to compete with somebody who has worn gloves and putting his gloves in front of my face? It's an unfair demand to ask of GOIL. But even with that, by the grace of God and the effort of each and every one of you, GOIL has made progress. People still trust us. So it means that if we can get some help, if we can just get some small help, we will be able to go far.
Away from that, let's now move to the agri sector, because as part of efforts to tackle food security in Ghana, players in the agricultural sector are calling on government to factor concerns of actors in the value chain in drafting and implementation of agri-led support programs. Now, speaking at a sensitization forum organized by Towards Sustainable Clusters in Agribusiness Through Learning in Entrepreneurship, known as 2-Skill Program, country lead for the program, Khalid Idrisu, said this will be crucial in developing all aspects of the sector. More in this report.
In a bid to address food security issues facing Africa, the second phase of the Towards Sustainable Clusters in Agribusiness Through Learning in Entrepreneurship program has supported approximately 100,000 smallholder farmers, agribusiness SMEs, and farmer producer organizations. Speaking at a sensitization forum, Khalid Idrisu, country lead for 2-Skill Ghana, told Joy Business that by developing inclusive business models, offering access to markets, and scaling small businesses to unicorns, the initiative aims to improve the livelihoods of smallholder farmers.
We reach the smallholder farmers with some services like production-related services, with some other capacity building related services and linkages to markets. So the 2-Skill program targets what we call the business champion. That is the anchor around which the partnership is developed. Then we look at other ancillary businesses that have a relationship with the business champion. Then we look at how we can build a partnership with all these people, ensuring that everybody benefits in the process.
Mr. Idrisu called on the government to collaborate with the private sector to ensure the development of the value chain.
We are calling on the government institutions in particular to liaise more with industry and ensure that what we have started as a program, which is the driving inclusive business, sees the light of the day, and that we have more businesses that will adopt the inclusive business models.
The Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, one of the implementing partners, highlighted the need to support women and youth in agriculture.
You don't just run your business for profit. You run your business by ensuring that these base of the pyramid are part of the business operation, so they also build their life. If, let's say, you are into rice, farming rice, you can decide to say that the small farmers around you, you give them input, you help them with their farm, and so these people can also farm, come out with their product, and either sell to you or sell to any market, add value so they can get money.
One of the beneficiaries shared their experience with Joy Business.
Through our partnership with the 2-Skill project, we've been able to organize the smallholder farmers into groups with leadership and organized structures. And because of that, it is much easier to work with a large number of smallholder farmers. We started with 1,000 smallholder farmers. Now, under the program, we are doing 2,000 smallholder soybean farmers.
The second phase of the 2-Skill program is funded by SNV Netherlands Development Organization with support from Bottom of the Pyramid Innovation Center and International Fertilizer Development Center.
The United Nations World Food Programme has hosted a 3-day post-harvest loss pitch event here in Ghana aimed at finding innovative solutions to reduce the country's food losses after harvest. More in this report.
The United Nations World Food Programme post-harvest loss pitch brought together young innovators who presented creative ideas focused on strengthening Ghana's food security and minimizing waste in the agricultural value chain. It also served as a platform for nurturing youth-led enterprises that address critical post-harvest challenges. Speaking to Joy Business, Country Director of World Food Programme, Aurori Rusiga, emphasized the organization's commitment to not only funding promising solutions, but also offering long-term support.
Looking at what's happening in the rural areas, remote areas, the most vulnerable people, how could we take solutions, best practices to address the issues that are facing, that are linked to hunger or losing the little they produce. How do they address the issues of climate action on agriculture? The main objective actually was not only to identify the different solutions and the ideas that are there, but also to connect them to the industries, to the people that could mentor them. They are all giving advices and telling them the opportunities that are there so that at least they could get connected to the right industries that could support them.
Technical specialist at the United Nations Capital Development Fund, Angela Kwashi, noted that the pitch initiative goes beyond reducing food losses.
This forum has really brought out the innovations that we are going to let it have a bearing on the market women, on the farmers, in the hinterlands, on the northern region, providing employment, ensuring that our tertiary students or the innovators are able to broaden their scope and then to bring innovations that actually suit the local purpose. After this support, the next stage is for them to have impact. So that is where UNCDF, for example, as one of the UN agencies that provides loans, grants, and guarantees, we also partner with financial service providers, coming up with products and services tailored to the needs of the youth, in order that these innovations, aside the seed capital, hand-holding, and ensuring that they take root, they need to scale. And the next stage is for them to be, they need to partner with the financial service providers. That is what we will call sustainability.
Out of 435 applications received to participate in the pitch, 30 participants were shortlisted and grouped into 10 teams. At the end of the pitch, each team receives $10,000 in seed funding to support the development of their solutions. Some participants share their ideas at the chance to make the real change in the food system.
Situ Store is an agricultural business startup that is using lime extract from lime and orange peels to preserve onions. I would like to say thank you to WFP for locating us, picking us up from just an idea to an innovation.
Our current project is about smart solar dryer, which aims to dehydrate produce to extend the shelf life of produce. I would like to thank the World Food Programme for the support so far, since from the beginning, the incubation period up to now.
The pitch event reflects the UN's broader goal of empowering local innovators and building resilient food systems through strategic investment and capacity building.
In the heart of Ghana's markets, plantain sellers are finding new ways to keep profits steady. As the season flood stalls with plantains, many traders are turning to yams, maize and cocoyam to attract more customers and stay competitive. Speaking to Joy Business, some traders and consumers shared their concerns about the seasonal shift and how they are finding alternatives to keep their businesses going.
Local markets, plantain sellers are changing gears, adding yam, cocoyam and maize to their stores. The reason being that plantain season is at its peak and traders are finding alternative ways to stay competitive and make profits.
I used to sell plantains, but lately there is none available, so I have switched to yam and cocoyam. Plantain has its season, and when it is out of season, prices shoot up. Currently around 20 cedis for 3, making it hard to make a profit. During the season, plantain gives me better profit than yam or cocoyam. For now, I am selling only yam and cocoyam, but as soon as plantain is back in season, I'll add it again. Because plantain is not in season, I only roast yam and maize. There is some plantain in the market, but it is very expensive and I can't afford it because I would lose profit. Right now, business is very slow, but we manage. Maize also has its season, just like plantain. Every year, plantain gets expensive when it is out of season, but this year it's extremely costly. It's even hard to find in the market. That's why many sellers are switching to corn, yam or cocoyam. I still buy small quantities. Sometimes a bunch like this can cost 40 cedis, and if I sell it for 50 cedis, I make just 10 cedis profits. And I'd rather keep something coming than stop. Many customers choose maize because it fills them up. So plantain is mostly bought by those who can afford it. Some of my rich customers even come from industrial area to buy in bulk at Kokomlemle. One sale can bring me 200 to 300 cedis.
When you go to the market to buy plantain, it's very expensive. Even the small pieces usually sold with beans now cost 2 cedis instead of 1 cedi. So for us to get enough to eat, we must wait for the plantain season.
Plantain being out of season is a great issue for us, even as especially we the mothers. Yeah, we know that plantain we've been told is full of ions. And then we have people who have communicable, non-communicable disease like diabetic, hypertensive patients who normally just depend on plantain as survivor. So the prices of plantain and the shortage of it now is not only causing hunger, but if something is not done about it, I believe that we may have people even losing their lives. Because if some people solely depend on plantain as a means of survival, and now they cannot afford it. And even if you can afford it, you get to the market, there are no plantains, yes. For some of us, we can switch to rice and other things, but it doesn't mean that we should be happy about it. Because we need to balance our meals to get good health.
The next time you visit your favorite plantain seller, don't be surprised to leave with none or less plantain. From yam to maize and cocoyam, these sellers are diversifying to keep their business thriving during this season.
Rosela Calistego filed that report. Now, Samsung Electronics has unveiled an artificial intelligence AI television set to the Ghanaian market. The new innovation supports consumers' adaptability through the use of AI. Head of marketing at Samsung Electronics West Africa assured that the product will enhance the life of television viewers. More in this report.
The AI-powered television set comes with modern features that make viewing more enjoyable and convenient. According to Samsung Ghana, this sets it apart from other brands in the market. Maxwella Agudeche, marketing manager for consumer electronics at Samsung West Africa, told journalists that the world is moving towards artificial intelligence, hence the need for products inspired by AI.
We have a whole variety of TVs from Neo QLED 8K to Neo QLED to OLED to QLED. Now, Vision AI, as we all know, AI is taking the world by storm in every aspect of our lives. And what better way to incorporate it into our lives than in our products that we use every day at home. So we have our TVs. Now, one exciting thing for the TVs is now everything is controlled by AI in the system of the TV. So you can access the TV and the TV can learn your preferences. It can learn what you like to do on your TV. So for instance, there's something called adaptive volume. When it knows that, okay, anytime you watch football match, the volume is at, let's say, 90%. As soon as the TV realizes that you're watching a football match, you don't even need to now increase your volume. It automatically sets it to that because it's learning your preferences and it's getting intelligent as the days go by.
She further detailed packages available for consumers on pre-order.
From now, we've started pre-order of our new TVs. So the pre-orders are on the Neo QLED 8K, the Neo QLED and the OLED. You just need to walk into any of our authorized stores, pick up a form, make a deposit, and then when the device is ready to be delivered to you straight in your house. And with every pre-order, you get a music frame, which is our newest audio device. It looks just like a picture frame, but I bet you plays the sweetest and the best music you could ever imagine. And then with that, you get a Galaxy Watch 8 Classic to help you with your gestures. And it starts from now and it will be ending on the 30th of July. I'm hoping you all pre-order and get to experience this immersive innovation that Samsung has brought to Ghanaians.
The new lineup of AI Vision television ranges from 43 to 100 inches and available at all Samsung shops across the country on pre-order.
Thank you so much for watching Prime Business. I am Pius Kojobaka. We have more for you when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Razak is on standby with Prime Sports.